Testing my audio. All right, we are here, people. Today I got two battles for you, Gen 8 National Dex UU, and this is also same thing but a tournament battle. Now these guys are basically, this guy was number one on the ladder when I was fighting him. Um, as you can see, his rating is 1571. Mine at the time was 1376. And during the tournament battle, which was like almost a month later, to be honest, you can't see the ratings, and I can't either because it's a tournament. But if you look up just Franco on the National Dex UU ladder, he's pretty much always number one, either number one or number two. And my rating at the time was like 1400s. So we're going to go into the first battle here. This is basically my favorite team in National Dex UU. I would use this team in like the main games as well, if only it had like the moves that it had. Because obviously Swampert's like flip turn didn't exist until like this generation. So if it did, I would the next gen game that comes out, I would just like this will be my perfect team. I would go against some gym leaders and stuff with it too. It's a mono weakness team, so like only weak to ground, only weak to fire, ground. I think Electros is the only Pokemon that doesn't have a natural weakness, just because it has the ability to levitate. You know what I mean? So yeah, as you can see here, this is pretty much stall. Or it looks like stall just because you have two of the evolutions, and Moltres here with Flame Body. So like most of my team is like physical, 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 so it's like really hard to deal with. I believe at the time my Electros was also a physical Pokemon. I'm not sure though, but Volt Switch here, if it wasn't, um, well, maybe it wasn't, because now that I have Rotom Wash, I'm pretty sure it was also special. Here I leave with Sableye because the sooner you get off your Mega Evolution, the better the Pokemon is most of the time. Garchomp. So yeah, anyways, I get off my Mega Evolution here, and I decide to go for Toxic. Um, because why not? Like the only Pokemon on his team that doesn't appreciate or that doesn't mind it is Metal, right? So I still had Toxic at this time instead of Metal Burst. And as he goes for another Toxic, because he has Mold Breaker, so it doesn't Magic Bounce back, which is unfortunate. Hmm. He goes on Umbreon here. He most likely has Heal Bell, and here I can go for a Stealth Rock, and he should go for a Aromatherapy here or a Heal Bell if he has it, and I can go for a safe Toxic in case he goes into Vaporeon, expecting a Flip Turn since it does have Water Absorb. Yep, he goes for a Heal Bell here. Since I am already poisoned, it doesn't really matter. And as you can see, since he does have Toxic, you know for a fact it's a stall. So his Synchronize doesn't matter. I'm already poisoned anyways. Here I do decide to go for a flip turn just because I expected him to go for another, um, I don't know, go for like foul play or something like that. You know what I mean? I didn't expect him to go into Vaporeon here, because I could have went for double toxic. You never know, right? So I do go for a flip turn out here. And since he brings in Bulu, I always have a very safe Muckalola switch in, right? And there you go. Um, so there's that, and I can always knock off here. Knockoff will be my best play because he has a Melmetal and Poison Jab, which I have on it. Wouldn't have done really anything. So going to Swampert here because again, safe Swampert switch in. Rotom Wash would have been safe as well. Melmetal doesn't do much against us anyways. Um, I could get off because of the grassy terrain. I don't mind the toxic damage because I have leftovers as well, and you can see it doesn't do too much as long as I don't stay in for too many turns. Now I could go for either a toxic or a flip turn out here. Um, to get momentum, and I expected him to default, so I believe I got just go for flip turn just to get some damage off. Going to Electros here, now I can freely Volt Switch. Like, what are you going to do? I'm going to get chip on everything, right? Um, yep, let's go for Volt Switch out here and go again, Muckalolas. Very safe switching. Here, again, I'm going to expect him to switch out. He should never throw away Bulu this early, only at turn 11, right? So he goes back into Melmetal, and I go for Power Up Punch because I expected Melmetal again. Um, and I don't want to stay in, even if he has Earthquake or high horsepower, because it will do a decent amount of damage if not knock me out. So go into Swampert here very safely. I don't mind the toxic damage. Oh yeah, double Iron Bash would have done a lot as well. Again, Swampert is a safe switch in. The toxic damage isn't much. It's only 6% for the first turn, and you have grassy terrain plus leftovers, so it's like whatever, right? And here I can't really do much under terrain, so I could go for Stealth Rocks instead of an EQ to get damage off, especially since he could just go into like I don't know a flying type Pokemon. Yeah, so I do go for Stealth Rock here, and he stays in because he's like, I'm under grassy terrain. EQ isn't going to do much, and he's right. It's not going to do much, unfortunately. Um, Now he goes on Vaporeon here, and I try to go for a flip turn. So good job on his part predicting that. Which I honestly could have went for EQ or Toxic here, or just hard switched out. So that was a misplay on my part. I decided to go into Rotom Wash because what he's going to do? Flip turn out as well. All right, that's cool. He goes into Bulu here, and he shouldn't be faster than me. Um, However, we haven't seen exactly what he is, so um, that's why I just went to Munkalola here as he goes into Ampharos. And I could go for a Power Up Punch here or a Poison Jab just to fish for poison, which I do get. And it should be 60% because I have Poison Touch as well as Poison Jab. So it's like should be like 60% chance to poison. Goes for Dragon Pulse. I have decent Spadef even without any investment. So it's like, hey, whatever, I don't care. I'm adamant with max HP. I have no speed. I should be able to live any hit. Um, he goes on a Melmetal here, and I try to go for another Poison Jab in case he stayed in for whatever reason. But the Ampharos is pretty low now, and even if it doesn't matter because honestly, I got a little bit of health back with the, like he switches out here, and even though I don't do any damage to Melmetal, I get a little bit of health back from the Black Sludge. So it's like, hey, I'm back at 73. You know what I mean? I'm going to Electros here safely because Swampert is pretty freaking low at this point. And I couldn't do much against Vaporeon, especially if he flip turns out, and he's probably faster than Swampert, so I can't get off a Toxic or anything. So going to Electros here because double Iron Bash wouldn't have done too much. He goes for Protect, and I just go for Discharge because why not fish for a what's it called? He goes into Blue here, and I should go for another Discharge because if I get a parry on this, would also be nice, right? Um, but no, Para again, very safe switching for Muckalola, and he has Synthesize. And at this point, I'm like, ah, shit. He has like Synthesize. I mean, Synthesis. He has a bunch of like Wish Pass. He has a bunch of way to heal himself. I'm just like, fuck. But again, I can go for a Power Up Punch here because he's not going to stay in for sure. You know what I mean? And Double Iron Bash is going to do a lot of damage to me, and I believe I go to Rotom here. No, I go to Electros here. Like as you can see, it doesn't do much damage since it's not Choice Bandit, right? Um, and he can just go into Umbreon here, take some chip, and take some Flamethrower chip because he was, I guess, scouting for Flamethrower. I should have just went for Volt Switch here because it would have done, I guess, just as much damage to Melmetal um, because it's stab and all that, right? So instead of like showing him that I have Flamethrower, it's like, oh, now he goes for that. So I can just go for like a Volt Switch, get out of there, and going to Sableye Mega for some reason. I don't know why I did that, but sure, okay. Maybe I wanted to get a knockoff off. Yeah, so he goes for a tech. I try to go get a knockoff here. Um, it doesn't really work out, but now I can go for poison or a Will-O-Wisp. I should go for another. Yeah, so he projected that, which is unfortunate. Um, and I should not stay in here. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I guess he was predicting Will-O-Wisp, but I shouldn't stay in here anyway, so it doesn't matter. Um, and he decides to switch out into Bulu here, and I vote switch out on his Moltres or his double into Bulu. Go into Muckalola, and I'm back at full health, baby. Thank you for the grassy terrain, buddy. He goes into that here. I go for power up punch, and he burns me. Maybe. Yep, he does burn me, which is really unfortunate at this point. I'm just like, fuck, that sucks. I can go for knockoff here. Um, Potentially get a burn if I go for poison job here. Um, and because I have black slush, the burn doesn't really do any more damage than the leftovers is getting back. So there you go. You get a poison off here, and sucks for him, right? His heavy duty boots are knocked off. If I send up, I don't. If I have stealth rocks with Swampert, his Moltres is dead. You know what I mean? Here I can go for a knockoff here because it's like, what is he gonna do to me? Just wish? Okay, that's fine. Maybe I can get a poison on this thing as well, right? It's like still doing so much damage. It's like what the heck, right? He goes on a Melmetal here and gets wished all the way back up. You know what I mean? Which is unfortunate. I was at like times 3 attack. Um, Going to Electros here, you know. Oh, as he has high horsepower, he should have went for double Iron Bash because like what on my team really resists it after Electros and Rotom is gone, right? So I go for Flamethrower here. Obviously he stayed in because it wasn't gonna do that much damage to him, and he could go for a freaking Toxic again, right? And I can go for another. Why would he go hard blue there? I could just go for another Flamethrower, but whatever. Um, and that would have done some damage to him. But his blue would have survived anyways. Wouldn't have been much of a big deal. I go back in Electros here. Unfortunately, since you're Levitate, you don't get the Grassy Terrain effect, which is really unfortunate. I go for Flamethrower here. I should have just went for another Volt Switch because, like I said, thinking about it now, the stab with the Volt Switch would have made it just as strong as Flamethrower. You know, even though Flamethrower is actually super effective. Um, he goes for another protect and getting a shit ton of HP back, you know, which is unfortunate. Rotom is also levitate, so it doesn't get much HP. I go for discharge, get a crit here, which actually mattered. And now my Swampert can flip turn, flip turn, flip turn, even though it's at low health. You know, so this crit actually mattered. Um, and I go for Volt Switch out here. I could have went for another discharge, but I didn't want to get toxic because I need this for Melmetal, right? My other two Pokemon are kind of like right now. And like I said, with Grassy Terrain and Leftovers, I don't mind the first turn of Toxic. And now, when I get Stealth Rock up, his Moltres is fucked. But since I expected him to go to hard Moltres, I believe I just go for Flip Turn now and knock it out. Yep. Especially, I was like, okay, well, I already took the first turn of where is it at? Yep, so I already took the first turn poison, so like this one would have done 12%. I didn't want to stay in and throw up Stealth Rocks, right? So he goes hard Moltres, and I knock that out, and now I can go back into Scizor here. Because Scizor setting up with SD would have been like, you know, probably would have knocked out everything. Dude, like his stall team hasn't taken out a single one of my Pokemon, which is crazy. So he doubles into Melmetal from Umbreon for whatever reason, I guess. Sure, I get okay, whatever. And I have Bug Bite on this thing just because I like, you know, the 60 base power turned into 90 instead of using U-turn, which is nice for momentum, but you know, whatever. Go for Discharge here, hoping the fish for paralysis. I don't get it. I can Volt Switch out here because I know now he's slower. He's not Choice Scarf. Going to Muckalola safely. He goes for a Leech Seed here, which is really unfortunate, to be honest. And here I believe I go into Sableye. Yeah, because I didn't want to take more Leech Seed here. Um, and he could just Wish Pass, and I go for Recover, bring my Sableye back up to pretty much full, which is really nice. Um, as he goes in Ampharos, and I'm just like, fuck. Going to Swampert here, um, because I mean, you know, it's like whatever. He could have went into Melmetal as well, but it's whatever. Get up Stealth Rock here, and now they're here to stay. He doesn't have a defogger anymore, right? So now they're here to stay. I should flip turn out here, or not actually, because he's gonna go for Protect, right? Yep. So good thing I didn't do that, and I'm getting more health back on my Muk than I am losing from the burn because of the grassy terrain. Just go for Power Up Punch, Power Up Punch, Power Up Punch. What is he gonna do, right? Like, what is he gonna do? He doesn't have that many heal bells left either. Um, just get a few more burns on something, and it's just like he's fucked. Unfortunately, he gets the wish off, so his Melmetal is like pretty much back to full, which is unfortunate to say the least. So I just go into Sableye Mega here because I'm defensive and he can't do much to me, and I can get off a Will-O-Wisp now. Oh, he's actually faster. What the hell? But I get off a Will-O-Wisp, which is nice, and I died of poison, I believe. Yep. And there's my first Mont down. But at least Melmetal is now, what's it called? And I can just Volt Switch here. Yep. Go for a Volt Switch and then go into Scizor safely. I could go for SD up. I know he has Foul Play. As he goes for Heal Bell, you know, it's like, okay, I have Bug Bite. Oh, I just go straight for Bug Bite. So in case he went for Heal Bell there, for whatever reason, your Umbreon is dead. Bug Bite from a Life Orb Scizor, fully adamant, you're dead. You're not going to survive, right? I don't know why you did that. Honestly, like with Stall, I wish my Scizor had Roost, but it worked out in the end. It really doesn't matter. And I'm trying to like scout for what he has, so I just go into Rotom here, in case he has like Flamethrower or something. And his actually knocks it out. So I should have just went into Swampert, to be honest with you. Spadef Swampert. Um, it would have stopped the Volt Switch, and I would have gotten off a Flip Turn as well. Going to Muckalola safely. As he goes for a Leech Seed here, and for some reason I had a feeling that he was going to stay in. Like it was just feeling that I was going to stay in. So I go for a Poison Jab and knock him out. And, you know, he types in the chat, and he's like, damn, the one time I stay. And I was like, dude, I had a feeling. You know what I mean? Now Muckalola really, I can just stay in and Power Up Punch because like this thing isn't going to get any more health back after it's like what's it called? After the terrain is over, like you don't have leftovers anymore. You don't have a heal wish passer, like you're dead, right? So I'm just trying to get off as much damage as possible. And I go for a knockoff here because it would have been, I think, stronger than Power Up Punch. You know, so that's why I decided to go for a knockoff. And now I can bring in Electros and go for a Z move, or either that or Volt Switch, which works as well. Going to Scizor because he's not going to do that much damage with double Iron Bash. Um, and I can go for a Bug Bite here, which isn't going to do much, unfortunately. Um, And you can see he has terrain extender for grassy terrain, which is really interesting. So yeah, I don't kill him here, but it's fine. Like, to be honest, he can kill me, knock me out, and Swampert just wins. You know what I mean? Electros also just wins. I go for a Z power here, go for Bloom Doom for whatever reason. And here's where I make a misplay. So where he goes into Ampharos here, I should have just thrown this away because he can't kill my Swampert. Instead, I go for Volt Switch here, which is really, really bad, and I didn't expect him to be that slow. So if he had killed me here with Dragon Pulse and Toxic, oh, I would have lost the game. So yeah, that I would have definitely lost the game there. That was really bad. So next battle. So again, this is a tournament battle, and you can see my team here is pretty much stall-ish. I have Hillbill on Altaria. You have at least Slowking is installed. It's fully like the special attacking one with Assault Vest. You have Umbreon and Celestia that's stall. Swampert for Spadef, and then Roserade, which is like Spikes, Rest, Natural Cure, and two attacks. So it's like half stall, right? Because basically the reason I bought Roserade was some people in the chat were like saying Roserade is basically just fucking trash. And I was trying to say, if you look at the special attack, the base special attack, it's 125. You really sleeping on that and telling me Roserade is trash. Yes, it has absolutely zero switch in capabilities. It has no defense whatsoever. But hazards, excuse me, hello, hazards, hello, sleep powder, hello, like leaf storm, sludge bomb, like are you serious? You know what I mean? So that's why I decided to bring Roserade, and people were watching the battle. Obviously, this is the number one guy on the ladder, and I believe he still is for National Dex UU. He should be ranked 1600 something, 1700 something. So here I could lead off with Altaria, get off my Mega Evolution, but um, his team is very threatening, especially Toxicity and potentially Bandit Zapdos. I'm not sure if Bandit Zapdos was a. Okay, so it's been suspected, but it hasn't been actually banned yet. So he could have a Bandit Zapdos, which is really scary. Um, Urshifu is also really scary. I don't really have much of a Surging Strike switch in besides Celestia with Rocky Helmet. Um, Umbreon was specially defensive, so that would be my switch in a Toxicity or Nihilego or whatever. So here, okay, so I actually decided to leave with Swampert because I guess I expected him to leave with Toxicity, um, expecting Altaria or something like that. So Swampert was a good lead for me. However, I knew that I was going to live Greston. Like I'm Spadef. Unless your choice specs, you're not going to kill me, right? So I knew I was going to live Swampert. I go for EQ here and get my first kill. And here he should go into Shifu. Um, or Zapdos would have been fine too to knock me out. Um, and I can have a very safe switch in into Celestia here as he goes for Surging Strikes and get a shit ton of damage on himself. Unfortunate. He switches out here, and I expect him to switch out as well. So I just go for a Leech Seed, at least try to get a little bit of health back, I guess. Going to Altaria here now as he goes for Teleport. Very good. He goes into Toxicity. If I Mega Evolve, I die. If I don't Mega Evolve, I also die. If I go into Umbreon, it could potentially get 2-hit KO. So here's where I had to bring out the calc. And I saw that Umbreon did not get 2-hit KO, nor Slowking. I don't believe. Maybe it does. Okay, so Slowking doesn't get 2-hit KO'd, luckily, and I can throw off a safe Future Sight here. I can go into Roserade now safely as he just goes for Teleport. He brings in Zapdos. Unfortunately, I have Future Sight, so here I like if he kills me, like his Zapdos is gonna die. So I expect him to go for a U-turn here, and that's why I stayed in and I decided to go for Sludge Bomb. So there's my Sludge Bomb. As you can see, it does a decent amount, gets poison and Future Sight hits, and it's gone. So I guess that was the only kill in the whole game that Rosemary makes, but good job, Rosemary. So go back into Toxicity here, and Slowking is not going to appreciate this at all, to be honest. Like, I kind of want to save my Roserade just for Slowking, to be honest with you, like or Shifu, because it kind of deals with it, and it's not a switch in. Sludge Bomb, Leaf Storm, like, is that really a switch in? You know what I mean? So I go to Umbreon here because it was going to live too, and I can just wish it up and go for Protect here and fail, and Urshifu, you cannot stay in and protect on Urshifu. So I decided to go in Altaria here as he goes for a U-turn. I could have went to Celesteela here, and he keeps bringing in Toxicity, which is an issue. So he goes for Boom Burst and just kills me. I didn't want to Mega Evolve. I don't think I would have lived anyway, so I had to sack something here. Um, as he goes for that, I get off a future sight here. Um, go into Rosary and just sack it at this point. Because it's like, what can I do? You know what I mean? Going to Umbreon here, I go for foul play, hoping Future Sight does enough damage, but obviously it doesn't do that much. I should go for a Wish here and just Wish past like all my Mons, to be completely honest with you. Um, as I go into Swampert here, he teleports out, he goes into Shifu, and I get my health back, which is really, really nice. I can go into Celestia again safely as he goes for a U-turn, obviously. I should have went for flip turn here because a U-turn would have been very obvious. Oh god. Anyways, yeah, so he goes into Toxicity, and now I have to. Good thing I have Protect, so I can see what he goes for. He goes for Boom Burst, and I believe Swampert may or may not take it. Okay, so I just stayed with Celestia because I was like, this is not going to kill me, right? Go for Leech Seed here, and I saw that it was Specs damage, so it's, whatever. Go for Protect here, but doesn't really get anything off. I go into Swampert here because Close Combat, as you can see, would have killed, considering that is Bandit, I think. Um, so close combat definitely would have killed, and my Rocky Helmet would have done enough to him back. So he goes for another close combat here. Um, and here I go for a future sight, I believe. So it's like whatever. I should go back and Umbreon, wish up my Swampert, wish up my everything else. I honestly wish he gets a burn on me because then I can synchronize it. You know what I mean? He takes the future sight attack, and I should go into any one of my Mons and get my health right back up, which is seriously amazing. He could have Thunder Punch, but I'm not really that worried about it. As you can see, close combat does so much damage. Um, go for Leech Seed here, and I forgot about the Future Sight actually, but it wasn't going to kill anyways, as you can see. And I can stay in here because I don't think he was going to sack it, but it's whatever. Going to Slow King, throw off a Future Sight as he goes for that, and I can go into Celestia and like pretty much sack it now. It doesn't sack, which is really nice. Um, And I believe I have a future sight set off, so I could go for Leech Seed, get some health back. Either that or go into Umbreon hard and wish up my Celesteela. But I can't switch it on the next Earthquake, or excuse me, the next Scald, you know what I mean? So I could have went into Umbreon there, but decided to sack Swampert. It's just like, whatever. But now he can freely overdrive, which is unfortunate. Go into Umbreon here, because I knew he was like choice locked, I just wasn't sure which one. Because the whole time I was calcing it as Choice Bandit, but it's not. It was actually Choice Scarf. I go for a Wish here, go for Protect, because I know he was going to go for Scald. You know what I mean? Which I could have went for a Foul Play then, if anything. Like it would have been better. Go into that. I can safely go into Celesteela now, and he can just knock himself out, which is like whatever. Now I only have 2 Pokemon left, and it's going to be very, very difficult. He goes for a Volt Switch here, and I could go for a Foul Play, get a bit of damage off, which is really nice damage actually. Go for Protect just to see what he's going to go for. He goes for a U-turn, so I could just go for a Wish here. Um, yep, and just stay in because I need I need my Pokemon back at full health, right? You know what I mean? Um, so now it's like, oh shit, I'm in a really bad situation. But he decides to go for a U-turn instead of like Brave Bird or something, which is understandable. Volt switch, U-turn, Volt switch, U-turn. It's like, okay. Decide to go for a Scout here. Hopefully get a burn off. I do not. Go into Umbreon again as he teleports out. Um, go for Protect. See what he goes for. He goes for a U-turn again. Um, I could go for a Wish Pass. His Slow King is just too good here. It's just way too good. I can't do much here as he burns me, and I do have Heal Bell, so it really doesn't matter much. Um, go to Slow King here because I'm going to live pretty much any hit, and I get the Wish back off. So this plays out for a very long time. Eventually, like I couldn't really get anywhere. I'm running low on PP as well. Like there was a lot of turns. There was like 100 something turns to be honest with you. As you can see, I couldn't really do much damage, and like he was playing really, really well, so I couldn't break it. And eventually, I lost my Umbreon, and that was just GG at that point.